Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. All right, Sagittarius. So tonight we have, the Strength or Lust card in the Thoth system, and it's called the Lust card. And it's a beautiful, beautiful image. We have Babylon riding the beast, and a very, divine feminine energy right up in here, okay? We'll just right up in there. And so this is I just feel like there's probably attraction, some amount of desire going on, maybe flirtation. I feel like it's just, maybe not in love. Maybe you are in love. I don't know. But I do feel like there's just like a excited to interact with whatever it is, if it's a person or a hobby or a job or, I don't know. Maybe for me right now, it's been intentional movement. I've gotten really into like working out, and I look forward to it. It makes me so happy and excited. Oh, now it's my time to bike. So whatever it is, it feels intense for you. Okay, so I'm going to lift this thing up. We're going to take a look. So I also want to say thank you so much for deciding to click on the reading and check out this tea leaf divination reading. Okay, so I feel this strong feeling of being youthful and playing and being around a lot of people, kind of almost like maybe a picnic, or maybe you lived in a very like forested area, or very not in the city, right? Very natural kind of landscape, and a group of people, some young, some older, and I just feel this intense love, but it's also matched with this feeling of wanting to be noticed, wanting to be chased, or I almost get this feeling it's like when you were a kid and you had like a bit of a tantrum, or you got in trouble, or your feelings were hurt, or, whatever. You had these big emotions coming up. You're crying, you're sobbing, you're weeping, you're angry, and you run off and go and hide and cry. And yet you have this feeling, this desire for your mom to come and find you, or your dad to come looking for you and to sit next to you and hold you and talk you through it and make you feel loved and safe and heard. And yet I think you had all these people around you, and you were living in this kind of, maybe the household wasn't idyllic, but I feel like it's almost an idyllic kind of environment, right? And yet there is this really deep feeling of loneliness and feeling invisible. Like, whatever you have to say or whatever you feel doesn't matter to anybody. And I think that's something that wasn't just like once or twice, but this was an ongoing thing. It feels like it really, really kind of became a foundational aspect of your childhood. And I believe that this is where your work is focused, because when we feel like that for prolonged amounts of time, especially in those formidable years when we're young and we're, kind of creating our personas and our identities and, our coping mechanisms, our conditioning and reactions and so on and so forth, this can really lead to a lot of different, there are a lot of different things, but really troubled relationships, having a hard time trusting people, having a hard time oftentimes when we feel like this when we're young, we become people pleasers because we know if we're nice to people, if we go out of our way for people, if we're the ones that pursue and we are consistent, and then they'll maybe like us, right? Maybe they'll keep talking to us. Maybe they'll keep being my friend. Maybe, whatever. And then when somebody goes over, boundary stomps, or they, don't know there's a boundary there, but they hit it. And because we don't want to be rude or we don't want to make them feel bad, you people please. You allow whatever to happen, and even though it makes you uncomfortable or you don't like it or whatever, right? And so this is only one of the things that can happen, right? If we feel neglected as children, emotionally, let me be clear, emotionally neglected. Because I don't know, to me, it doesn't feel like there's like a lack of resources or, like dinner on the table and that kind of thing. But the emotional part. And I almost, maybe, your family was quite stoic or maybe kind of, emotionally unavailable, I think is the big thing. But also this old way of thinking, the children should be seen and not heard, right? And so I feel you really getting into a place where you realize that growing up this way has made it hard to prioritize yourself. It's made it hard for you to go for what you want for yourself without feeling guilty or feeling like a narcissist or, selfish or whatever. So I do believe that this is really a time where you are doing that inner child work, or at least it's starting to come up more and more. And you're hearing, and you've probably heard recently, right? The inner child, the child wound, the, healing and re-raising the inner child, all these kinds of concepts. And so, yeah, I think this is where we begin, right? This is where, sometimes it just rules us, especially in those moments where things are very emotional. I don't know about you, but for me, I had a very troubled childhood. My family, I came from a family of addiction, a household of addiction, different kinds of terrible things going on there, mostly to the children, and, me and my siblings. And then my parents passed away, within 11 months of each other. And so I had a pretty hard childhood, and it was hard after that because I wasn't prepared to be a person, right? I had no idea how to be a person that was living a decent life. So yeah, it was hard. But here's the thing. I've realized that all of that, at this point, it's a story that I'm telling myself. Because yes, it did happen. And yes, it has made me who I am in a lot of ways. But it doesn't have to rule me. It does not have to rule me. And not only that, I don't want to work within its parameters anymore. I don't want to have to always go a certain distance and then stop and say, well, I don't want to trigger myself, or I don't want to, I don't, whatever it is, or I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't, for somebody like myself, I cry constantly, like at least once a day or every other day. I don't, I think, I don't know. It's helpful for me. It's how I release my big emotions. I'm still, to this day, I'm like almost 40 years old, very embarrassed about it. I don't like people watching me cry. I don't, I feel embarrassed that I have these big emotions. And here I go, almost crying. But I've realized, it all stems from being ignored, being, belittled, being used, being violated, being dehumanized. And these kinds of things, it doesn't have to be a terrible nightmare like I went through, but even just the little dismissive comments, or, overly critical, or, always gone, having to work, and you spend a lot of your childhood alone, whatever it is. We come to a point where we say, okay, but now what are we going to do going forward? Because I want to be who I truly am. I'm tired of carrying around these boulders. I'm tired of it destroying everything that is good in my life, because I don't know how to act all the time. And so, we begin the rebirth process. And this is it. I see all these, and you might be like, what? You're doing all this reading, you didn't show us what you're looking at. I'm seeing all these people. And we have also the rooster, which is the alarm. And that's the wake-up call. You're having a wake-up call in your life right now. And I imagine it's coming through because you have. I feel like you've probably had some kind of like falling out within a relationship. Some kind of conflict has arisen. Maybe you are with somebody who mistreats you. They don't treat you as the beautiful, wonderful, extraordinary human being that you are, right? And you're starting to wake up to it. You're starting to think like, okay, I can't continue to look past this behavior anymore. I cannot be treated this way anymore. I'm not going to be treated this way anymore, right? And so I see, as we are turning it this way, I see a person right here. And I see that they have, it looks like a fish. It looks like they're holding it by the tail. And it tells me that one of your big fears here is probably financial. I mean, that's a valid concern, right? If you've ever been through divorce or the loss of a partner, or even, you're like, you live with family and somebody passes on and everybody has to move, or, whatever it is, the financial, although we don't want to like dwell in money, this is all I think about, or you have to. You absolutely have to. I mean, it's how we keep ourselves fed, housed, if you're lucky enough for that, the lights on and so on and so forth. So, I feel like this is the big concern, the thing that really holds you back from making the big changes in your life and keeps this feeling. I mean, look at this. It's the eyes, the nose, the like grimace. And I feel like, and I've had to do this myself. Absolutely. I feel like sometimes we have to put it in God's hands. Sometimes we have to just know that the universe will provide for us. Now, we also need to be making plans, okay? So if you cannot leave or change your life right now, start planning, even if you don't make use of it. We should all have money put aside if we, of course, the way the economy and everything costs. Who can save anything? But even if you're just saving, $5 a month or a week or whatever, putting it away. And I don't mean like in a joint bank account or, somewhere where people can have access to it. Put it away for you. Squirrel that money away. We should all be doing it. And I know you probably are like, what the heck, Lenor? We all know your husband, right? Yeah. And my husband would tell you the same thing. Absolutely. Not because we want to get away from each other, but, let me just tell you, my first husband passed away out of nowhere. I was 29. He was 36. He had a heart problem he didn't know about and passed away in his sleep. I was 29. I was not prepared at all. I had no idea what to do. By the grace of God, did I get out of the situation I was in, right? Because it was devastating. It was but it was financially devastating as well. And so we should always have a plan. Absolutely. And, think of it this way. If you were going to tell your daughter, a couple of life things, I think that you would tell her always have something aside. Because if you need to leave or if you want to change your life in some way or you want to do something, within your own power without somebody else having anything to say about it, you need to keep some money on the side, period. Okay? So making a financial plan, finding a way to even just a few bucks, a few quarters from the couch, whatever, putting that aside, steadily doing it, and do not get into it if you're like, oh, they're coming out with like the new Crocs or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm terrible with that myself, but yeah, not only do we need to have the ability, to at least pay part of the first month's rent if you had to get an apartment or something, but it's also empowering to know I have a few bucks, right? I have a few bucks put away if worse comes to worse, right? So, what was the other one? Oh, right here. Yes. Okay. So I want to look at this right here. We have Anubis. And we also have a person here holding, it looks like 2 swords. Okay. So Anubis is the jackal-headed god. He is a psychopomp. He is the dude that shows up when you pass away. And this is in Egypto mythology. He shows up, he brings you into the other place, right, where you are going to get your heart weighed. And basically, like, what kind of life did you live, right? And then you either get fed to an alligator or you get to go to that, like, promised land, right? So I see this, and I don't think that there's any kind of death, right? But what I do feel, and also because we have the guy in the back with the swords, and the swords represent the mind, right? Thinking. And I feel like this is a place where, and I don't know why, but I feel like you have to forgive yourself. I feel like this is a place where you have to weigh your own heart against your own heart. You have to stop telling yourself that something's wrong with you, that you need to change something about yourself, that you're not good enough. if you did this or that, maybe people would like you more or connect with you better. Maybe my wife would be more attracted to me. Maybe my husband would, you know, listen to me when I'm talking to him. You know, whatever it is. Not to be dismissive of how you are thinking or feeling, but none of that's true. You are more than you need to be. Even when you are at your most vulnerable, your weakest, you're falling apart, messy, screaming, you know, just absolutely chaos. You're not too much, and you're definitely more than enough. And for whatever has transpired in those moments where you say the wrong thing or scream the wrong thing or slam the door or, you know, whatever it is, you have to forgive yourself. We all make mistakes. We all come into these places. It's not who we are. It doesn't affect your worth or your depth or your value. Worth and value are the same thing, I guess. Give yourself a hug. Let it go. Say it's all right. We'll get them next time. It's all good. It's all good. And you will. And you will. Okay, let's see. We have a sea turtle and we have just an abundance here. An abundance of, it looks like plants. So there's somebody in your life who is prone to the melancholy. Right here we can see the crawdad. And I feel like usually you're the one that watches over them. We have the eye. We also have the sea turtle, which is somebody that can go into the depths of the psyche. So I feel like you could be like a therapist, a counselor. Maybe you are the person that everybody kind of leans on whenever they have something they need to talk about or, you know, that kind of thing, get advice. You have good advice. And whoever this person is, usually you're watching out for them. They're going to need you. Something's going on with them. I think a big tower moment is about to happen. And I feel like you're going to be the person that they need. But I also feel like you need them at the same time. Like you both need each other because you're going through this transformation. They're going through the tower part. And I think maybe you leading by example helps them, but also being there for them, supporting them, but also them needing you fulfills you in a way that keeps you moving forward. I think that's really the dynamic that I'm feeling there. Okay, now we're going to, that one wanted to be seen. 43, our first lucky number, 43, 52, and 79. All right, Sagittarius, I got to wrap it up. I am running late today. So I'm going to tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you want to like the video, that would be awesome. If you would like to subscribe, that would also be really cool. And if you'd like to leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. All right. I love you. I love you. I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk in just a few days. And